What was the worst dating experience you've had and why? She ordered 3 bottles of wine at dinner. I had maybe 3 glasses total, which means she had 9 glasses on her own. When she tried to order a 4th one, the waiter cut her off. She caused a scene and got us kicked out of the restaurant. I called her an Uber, and while we were waiting, she PD'd herself in the parking lot. Basically poured her into the back seat of her Uber and went home. She texts the next day, "Hey, sorry, I missed our date last night. I must have taken a nap and slept through it. Reschedule?" Wow, just woke up and saw how popular this is. Figured I'd follow up. Here's the rest of that convo. For context, BH Bar is a bar my ex works at. Blackout had originally suggested we meet there for drinks, and I had to explain that she works there and is kinda crazy and I probably shouldn't take a date there. She knew that's what I called the place. When I first said I'll get back to you, I was really contemplating a second chance because she's smoking hot. But ultimately my big head prevailed over my little head. That last bit makes this golden. I thought her PG herself made it golden. It would really complete the circle if her name was Amber. I had a very similar experience, lol. Girl drank like 3 pitchers of beer, I had 1 beer total, and she ended up puking on herself as soon as we left the restaurant. I took transit with her across town to make sure she got home safe. This was pre-Uber. Took me like 2 hours to get back home. The next day she texts me, asking if I would like to meet up again as she had to leave early last night because of a work thing. What? LOL. And that, my friends, is what it's like dating a severe alcoholic. I knew a guy who gave himself party-related PTSD dating a girl like that. She had a lot of issues, but especially the drinking and drunken behavior. He would start shaking/having a panic attack and saying he wanted to stay home and have a quiet weekend in by every Thursday night. But she ignored him. We all lived in a school apartment, but he moved in secretly in November. He had his own apartment. He just spent 16+ hours, 5+ days a week in ours. Last I checked, they're still dating. This is actually really sad. The fact that she assumed she'd just gotten blackout drunk at home really suggests that she's struggling with alcoholism. Well, and the 3 bottles of wine at dinner. Met a lovely girl over Tinder. We really hit it off and had a great conversation. Decided to meet in person for coffee the next day. She showed up on time, looked just like her pictures, and brought her boyfriend. So was it A, jealous boyfriend sabotage, B, devil's threesome, C, her not knowing what Tinder is about? My guess is B, apparently. A lot of couples use Tinder to find a third. Went on a first date. Waited 60 minutes for food at the restaurant. Cue awkward conversation. Went to a movie and the movie jammed in the middle and we had to wait 20 minutes for them to fix it. Cue awkward conversation. On the way home the car broke down and he insisted we couldn't call any of my brothers or sisters for a ride, so we walked 4 miles home. In the snow. We have been married for 37 years. Winky face. He totally sabotaged the car. Dinner went pretty well. He was funny sweet, so we decided to Uber to a bar. On the way there we're holding hands and chatting. The guy immediately pulls his half-hard CK out and asks the Uber driver to reroute to his home. The Uber driver threatened to call the cops, kicked him out of the car, and drove me home free of charge. That's a 5 driver. Agreed, I didn't even have to ask him to. He looked in the mirror as soon as the date asked him to reroute and could tell I was uncomfortable. Pulled the car over, kicked the guy out. I honestly don't understand how some dudes are this dumb. Like he's likable enough to date successfully. Is the urge to pull your CK out unsolicited really so strong that you're going to ruin that, when all you have to do is, like, not pull your CK out? 99% chance this dude goes on the internet and whines about how he can't get laid and thinks it's totally women's fault. I went on a Tinder date that ended in me leaving because his friends showed up at his place with a stolen goat. They wanted to kill it and try to get in touch with the spirit world. I wish I was kidding. I remember this. I owed him a favor for the time he helped me get out of a bad date. He called my answering machine claiming to be my doctor and said that my gushing hemorrhoids were, in fact, contagious. She left quickly. Anyway, he texted me at about 7:00 p.m. saying that this girl he's on a date with won't stop bringing up the Holocaust, and not in a good way. So I grab a few of my buddies and my pet goat, Ralph, and we head over. If I recall correctly, I kicked down his front door, brandishing a mall katana and screaming, "LOA's coming to town and he's hungry for goat. We welcomed you to join in on the ritualistic sacrifice, but I guess you had to head out. Ralph's fine, by the way." Okay, I was a sophomore in college and went on the worst Tinder date of my life. This guy invites me to a really bro-y college bar. He shows up in sweatpants. I bought us the first round of drinks, but he never got another round. So that was it. I definitely wasn't drunk enough for this. I'm trying to make the most about this because he's cute and I only wanted something casual anyway. I was truly trying to make conversation. But every answer he gives is about football. He said he was on the team. A Google search later on proved that to be false. I asked him what he did for fun. Football. What other hobbies he had? Working out after football practice. Does he enjoy any games or anything? Madden. He also took a phone call in the middle of the date. While he was talking on the phone right in front of me, I was looking at the decorative signs all over the bar. I was too young to get up and just walk out, but I really wish I would have at this moment. When he hangs up the phone, he sees me scanning the signs on the wall and says, "So you like to read, huh?" We left shortly after he insisted on walking me home. We get to my apartment building. He goes in for a hug. While grabbing me, he whispers, "I was really hoping to get a piece of this tonight. You can't be serious right now." I say maybe next time, and run away. I didn't hear from him again until the following weekend. Saturday night, 2 a.m. My only blind date. My college roommate had a date. Asked me if I'd come along and take out his date's roommate. I thought, what the HL? Why not? We arrive at their place to pick them up. My date comes out. She's cute. She looks at me and just says, "Oh HL, no." She goes somewhere else. I drown my sorrows in pitchers of margaritas. Find out they have a 2-pitcher per person limit, and we're at 6 pitchers already. I call a buddy to join us. Buddy arrives, sits across from me. Order 2 more pitchers of margaritas. Buddy tells me he had plans with a girl, had been dating for a bit, but the plans had just fallen through. So let's get FD up. 3 minutes later, the girl he had plans with arrives on a date with another dude, sits at the table right next to us. We call another buddy to join so we can get 2 more pitchers of margaritas. In retrospect, we should have gone home after the second pitcher of margaritas. They walked into the restaurant, immediately said, "I don't believe in dental hygiene." I believed them as they had black teeth and gums that I could smell from several feet away. I could not tell if it was a joke or some sort of experiment, but it was hard to focus on much else. It was easily the most disgusting mouth I've ever seen. I'll keep this as short as possible. I was set up with a guy by a good friend, so I was excited. We texted back and forth for a few days and finally decided to meet up. We decide to get dinner in my town. Plans are set, and then he asks for a ride. No big deal, we were college age at that time. I get in my car, punch in the address, and he's an hour away and like in the cuts. Okay, whatever. I get to the address and I'm like, this can't be right. It's literally a shed leaned up against a fence. Okay, no worries, maybe I can't see the rest of the property or something, or maybe this is his home and he's just struggling right now. No skin off my nose, we had good chemistry. Texting. He gets in my car and he's bundled up like turtleneck jeans, puffy jacket. It's summer in a hot climate. Throws a massive bag and something else, I couldn't tell what. It was dark and I have a large van in my back seat. I'm wearing a mini skirt and a button-down blouse and 6-inch heels. He suggests we go somewhere else than we planned. Exciting. My friend had told me this guy was spontaneous like me. He guides me to a beautiful dark lake. The moon was shining and I could see so many stars. I'm not really dressed for this, but maybe he has something up his sleeve. I'm like, oh cute, romantic. Then he pulls a fishing rod out of my back seat. I tell him I'm not dressed for this and I also don't like killing animals. I've tried fishing before and discovered it is certainly not for me. He objects and I watch him fish for about an hour. Ignoring all my hints that I'm not having fun or that maybe coffee was a better plan. He puts his FG fish in my back seat and I tell him I don't feel well, let's stop at the gas station so I can fill up and take him home. This part is the real deal breaker for me. At the gas station while I'm filling up, an African-American woman approaches his window. This is important to the story. She asks for help filling her tires with air and I look and see her 2 kids in her car just looking exhausted. They were clearly on a road trip. Once again we're in the cuts. He looks at her and goes no, and turns away. I'm like, WTF, so I get out and help her. She was on a trip. I get back in the car and ask him why he acted like that. He then proceeds to roll up his sleeves and show me prison tattoo swastikas and tells me all about his sentencing for assault with a deadly weapon and a few other things I can't remember. Lovely. I drive as fast as I can back, freaking out. I have a racist, potentially dangerous, fish-toting weirdo in my front seat. I drop him off at his shack and let him get his stuff out of my car. As he's leaving he goes, "Do you want to come in and meet my mom?" I sped off. I don't talk to the friend who set us up anymore. The end. Oh, and I once had a friend whose Tinder date took her on a first date to his mom's funeral. Edit. Grammar by cuts, I mean middle of nowhere. The boon is far from civilization. I used capitalization for emphasis. Thank you for the silver, despite my horrible sentence structure and poor choice of words. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification. See you on another video. Bye.